red team. That's fair, I would say.
I would say so. Wolves will ban out Nook. Let's get underway, by the way. We don't want to hold you from these matchups because we know that for some of you Rainbow Six enjoyers, you've been watching for quite a while.
Of course, Nook has the highest attacker ban rate in the entire game across all regions combined. No surprise there for her to be off the board. Hibana on Clubhouse, also a very stable ban. This massively affects the basement bomb site, as you can't just get all the hatches for free with those X-Cairo pellets, dodge the impact grenades, etc. But Hibana can be brought on every single bomb site, so this is, of course, a very common one. Most teams should be comfortable playing around it. Bandit. Now, Bandit is only really in play on the CCTV bomb site, which we didn't see much of when Mirage and Wolves played that earlier today. But you could, in theory, bring Bandit on most bomb sites if you wanted to. And Mira follows along, another one of those stable operators that just commonly disappear from Clubhouse. Those mirror windows can be used on every single bomb site, I would go as far as to say. So that's going to affect all 4 sites as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, very first defense is going to be Church. Down below, operator bans Nook and Hibana, Bandit and Mira. I was kind of hoping to see a Nook, to be honest with you, Nick.
I mean, Wolves played against the Nook, against Mirage, and that didn't go very well for them, right? Because they would just sneak the Nook in the map and like really be an issue on the flank side for Wolves. Like, they run back towards the bomb side on the basement defense after roaming, and 1 or 2 members would just die because she could sneak past cameras, information, silent stepping, etc. So that's the one area where Wolves, they've changed things from the past. They deemed that the Nook was a massive issue to the defensive side, and hopefully for them, Nook being off the board is going to fix those problems right around. It's a lot to rely on, though. A single operator ban difference is obviously not going to make or break everything that happened in the previous game against Mirage. And FaZe Clan's playstyle also very different from that of Mirage. We see right here off the rip, cameraman hovering the Capital. Latem likes to bring this operator on Clubhouse, get secondary can openers with the Heart Breach, get fire, and you get smoke. And FaZe Clan, they're a team that I always refer to as, it's a Latem aggressive team with amazing gun skill. Some of the best players in the world, but they play a more European style of Rainbow Six Siege that's more methodical, that's more structured. So they combine those 2 elements from 2 very strong regions in their own respective ways into one team. And I think that really defines FaZe Clan.
Oh, Mowgli is prepared for that entry, but gets traded out swiftly by Cyber. Cyber put on an absolute clinic earlier, and well, he misses an opportunity to take out Rise, not expecting the Goyo to be in this spot, which I don't know why you wouldn't be, because Rise loves playing on these stairs, especially towards the top floor.
It's true. Cyber also, during the Berlin Major, was in talks as like one of the players of the year with the performance that he's put both domestically and internationally. He's been putting up crazy numbers and is very consistent as an individual. Has a great start so far in this round. Now, Cyber being very low on HP might be a problem. There's a C4 from Beeble and 2 impact grenades from P4. So if he were to do any vertical destruction instead of Kitchen, that could easily become a problem, especially because Bullet, his other vertical member of Sledge, is already dead. So it has to rely on Cyber to do all the vertical destruction inside of Kitchen.
When Mirage was playing up against Wolves, the main focus for Mirage was this Moto component to break into the A-bomb site. And they did so quite successfully a number of times.
No Thatcher being brought here might bite them.
Yep. This might be tough, I was going to say. Some of these hatches absolutely necessitate either pocket EMPs or a Thatcher. None of those were available. There were grenades on the Sledge of Bullet who died, so they didn't have any opportunity to open things up. That means those Electroclaws from Kaid are going to be exceptionally strong on this bomb site. FaZe will likely play it at least twice. That's the minimum if they end up winning it both times. It could be higher than that.
No nades either, so there's no way to get that Kite Claw off the Moto hatch. You have to change your approach now. You can see FaZe Clan, they're starting to rotate towards blue and main stairs instead because they recognize there's no real way to break this apart. P4 on the fire.
40 seconds to go. Bibu still inside of Moto. They trade off. Rise involved in more altercations. Still alive, by the way. Astro and Bull are the 2 that have been felled from FaZe. Cyber walking wounded in that engagement from Rise earlier on, but now he's in the middle of the bomb site. Diffuser is down, so this will have to be a duel. And Cyber walks right up. finds his second kill. Huge play. Diffuser needs to be retrieved. He'll be followed up on by Shinka. Wolves reading into this perfectly, and now Shinka just needs to play keep away. He's the only one remaining, but instead he takes the engagement. Diffuser is down. Souls won't be able to get there in time. First round goes to the Wolves.
Again, Shinka in those clutch positions, quite literally always the last person alive for Wolves in every single round against Mirage, and also in this opening round. And he finds the victory, playing it smart, gets the injury, knows the time is low. Instead of sprinting away, he plays it safe. He preempts Moto in case the last member from FaZe would be there, and once he recognizes the coast is clear, he knows he will win off the clock. Wolves, they found that round, especially off that good early roam aggression, slowing FaZe down, getting the nade player and one half of the vertical destruction. Cyber being sold on HP from Rise as well played a big factor. He wasn't comfortable going into Kitchen, and even if he did, they had no real way to clear out those kite claws because their operator lineup just wasn't quite suited for that specific moment of the kite being brought, which unironically, Wolves did this exact same thing against Mirage just a few hours earlier. It shouldn't come as a surprise for them, but it seemed like it did. Thatcher is being attacked, a repick right now, by the way, from Astro, so we are fixing the mistakes of the past. Cameraman want to get a little bit more aggressive from Capital onto Ying, Candelas, and Smoke Grenades to enable those executes on this gym attack.
All right, upstairs to Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard from Stream B. Nice to have you here. Apparently the game on Stream B is either delayed or not ready at the moment, so we are welcoming them over.
I was trying to think if they somehow finished the game. I was like, how is that possible? I mean, we're round number 2, like, there's no way. That makes more sense.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard. We're happy to have you over here. And we are also better than the people who were casting over there, which I think was Happen Fluke. I could be wrong. It might be, it might be Mandy and Dev, in which case
it's not Happen Fluke.
I really wanted to make fun of both Hap and Fluke.
Happen Fluke,
because it's Hap's country that lost my. It was Hap's country that lost my luggage, and I will never forget.
Oh, I see. Okay? It's personal now.
It's absolutely it is.
Mowgli on the main stairs getting aggressive, had an altercation on the main stairs chain position outside, but both escape with full HP. Soul is getting that single wall to construction opened up with the EMP to follow along. EMP economy playing around with the mute here from Mowgli. All 3 EMPs have been spent. While in one way it's bad not to have more EMPs, it enables Astro now to be a free roaming gun on this map. He can take more risks now, become an entry player, because he is quite literally a walking gun. That's it. No more real utility. That enables Cameraman to take the supportive work and enable himself as a Ying for when the execute is ready. That's stage 3 of the round. Right now, we're still figuring out exactly how to approach this. Aggressive swing from Wolves. It gets... Oh, it works out. I was afraid it was going to get punished for a second, but Mowgli finds the kill to Cyber instead. It's 5v4. Candelas are coming out. Any second now, Cyber. Or Cameraman, sorry.
Shinka's just watching this hatch. Cameraman looking left and right. Ideally getting some information. Shinka still very patient. Down goes Souls. Wolves starting off quite well here on defense. That's your hard breacher gone as well. Has Jacuzzi been opened up? That is the question that needs to be answered.
Yes.
Yes, it has. There's still secondary hard breach as well in the hands of Cameraman, so you've got some insurance.
The patience from Cameraman, he still has that Candela in his hand. Here we go.
And there go Candelas. Dropping on in, slaughtered by Bibu. Wolves answering this perfectly. FaZe not able to get a single thing done. It's followed up on by Astro. That is really, really rough. Bullet's last one left. Flawless round for Wolves.
I would like to believe that this is what happens when a structured playstyle team meets a very arguably overly aggressive team. Because you're trying to do the steps 1, 2, 3. Get Jacuzzi breach, start droning, play it pass, Mowgli Pichu, gets 1 kill. Then second guy drops on gym window, has a passive angle, Mowgli swings again shotgun, dead, 2 kills. Gets the third before that happened as well. It's just like you're trying as FaZe to play this really logical, sensible, you know, step-by-step play, and then Wolves just says no every single time. We saw it. Cameraman on the office hatch was ready to execute for a full minute straight. But in the midst of all of him being ready, other people are just falling apart. They had to replace those positions every single time, and they never got a stable foothold to go for it. And then when Cameraman was finally able to go, he drops, he immediately dies because his position wasn't covered because of that rotation. So, Wolves, they're up 2-0. They had a slow start against Mirage, but they have a great start against FaZe. Double fist pumps going out as well.
By the way, this is a technical pause, not a tactical timeout. So, okay.
So, okay.
Okay, Lilu. Liloon.
Liloon?
Liloon. Some technical issues have befallen these teams. We're not sure what, but this is not a proper timeout, so the coaches are not able to speak with them.
That is correct. Wolves, they win the basement into gym. Obviously won both. They arguably found opening kill on both, a trade in that first round at least. Third bomb side rotation, I am going to assume it's going to be a bar, just given the fact that Bandit makes, I would say, no sense to go CCTV at all in this matchup, because that is like the operator that you would need unless you got a different kind of pocket strat available to you. But Mirror's also banned. That kind of removes some of the pocket strats that are available. You can play the Mirrors in Lounge or the Castle Barricade, extend below. All those options are gone with those two operator bans. FaZe Clan might just need to get more aggressive and play more explosive. I think they had a good kind of handle on it in that opening round. They traded 1-for-1. They were all there to follow up. In the second round on Gym, it's just isolated members just dying alone. No real follow-up, nothing really happening. It's 5 members on each of their own positions. I think they gotta get more together and fight Wolves, because if Mowgli's gonna swing you, have 2 guns stare him down, trade 1-for-1 at worst, because right now he's just winning every single 1-versus-1. It's a 50-50. But for players like Mowgli, it's not really a 50-50 because he wins them 75% of the time. That's how he plays. Bar it is.
Bar indeed it is. You called it correctly.
I mean, it's too logical, right? Because it's like, the Bandit's gone, CCTV is gonna fall, there's just no way to hold it. It really like lives and dies off the Bandit. Maybe if Thatcher's banned, you can excuse it with a kite or a mute and make things work. Maybe if Mirror's open, you can like impact trick through the mirror window. But with both of those operators banned, being Mirror and Bandit, there's just no way that's a sensible choice. Attacker Repix coming out from FaZe. They're responding to this bar bomb set being showcased. Nothing too drastic, just a different lineup of different kinds of utility pieces, whereas Wolves are bringing kind of everything. Information, plant denies, can see through smoke, keep it barriers, C4. They are preparing for any sort of outcome with this lineup.
And Twitchtro will clear out some of this utility inside of the bomb site. Oh.
Hunting time.
Absolutely is.
But this is the thing, when you got a Twitch drone and there's nobody on the site itself, you can just take whatever you want, then leave your drone in the middle of the site for information later on. It's great value from Astro. Astro also arguably the Twitch player in the world of Rainbow Six Siege. Always played this operator since year 1.
You just saw that Shinka lost at least 1 yokai, right? So I'm curious as to how many more they might have lost out on. Because an Echo without a yokai, and especially losing those yokais early, it's absolutely debilitating. Shinka also has the Supernova, doesn't have access to the MP5 suppressed, so that will be a close range Echo, I'm assuming played similarly to what we see out of Smokes.
A Baron 9 on long distance is not pretty. Look at Mowgli again, always getting aggressive. Spot it out.
Oh my. Baited in perfectly.
That looks too easy. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Look at this. Nice angle from Rise, looking up above. I've yet to see Shinka go onto a yokai. That could just be me not seeing it, but
I think you're right.
I'm curious here as to if there's still one in play. It shows he doesn't have one in his pocket, but FaZe just taking their time, dotting their I's, crossing their T's.
I mean, they thought they had that easy walk on in, but the angle from above shut them down. Shin gets the Baron 9 kill onto Cameraman, and now FaZe, they gotta find something to work out here because nothing's really going their way.
Shinka in that same spot up on the top of the stairs that we've seen before. Astro's in planting, by the way. Rise knows that, but it doesn't look like he had a good read on it. Oh, Bibu drops. Rise had shot the foot. Souls refrags heading onto the stage. Bullet far away. Through the hatch, down goes P4. FaZe have evened the numbers out. There's still time left to get that diffuser and have the Brazilian squad accomplish the objective. Again, we have to ask the question, what utility in terms of cams are available? I don't think there's any yokais left. That means that it's just up to the black eye cams, which they've spotted and now are gone. Shinka over towards the hatch. Rise not too far off. And Rise can see from above, Soul's taking an awful beating there, only 15 seconds left. FaZe will need to figure out a way to get this plant down. And Souls will do it by the hatch. Bullet absolutely must cover. He does a good enough job of it. Shinka takes out Bullet though. Souls with the diffuser has but a second to get on it. And now Shinka can run up and end it in its tracks. Wolves sprinting to the finish line. They're up 3-0.
And again, it's Shinka, last alive as always, to play down the clock as they have done so many times before. And I mean, I'm not like confused necessarily, but FaZe tried to plant in the same spot in like 3 or 4 different locations, none of which worked, and they never took master bedroom control. There was never a guy on the master bedroom window. That wasn't how they approached the round, so it is confusing to me that they chose to keep trying to force it, especially once they figured out there was a warden on the board, because those smoke grenades are not gonna grant you any cover. Either you gotta get above and disrupt the verticality, or you gotta find a different position to plant, like they did towards the end below the hatch. But then Shinka, he was there for the trade because Wolves, they communicated 3, 2, 1. You swing the hatch, I'm gonna swing pool table. One of us is gonna get a kill, other person plays the 1v1 with 4 seconds left. And that's exactly what they did. And that's why it worked out so well for them, because they worked together. Whereas FaZe Clan, one member has to just hold F on his keyboard and plant, while the other member just has to fight 2 people at once. That's never gonna work in your favor, especially not at this level of play. And Wolves right now, they're really showing up strategically and dynamically, something that they were not really able to do against Mirage earlier today. It looks like they've had a good hard talk together with their coaching staff and really thought through the problems of the past.
Outside, Souls on Ying. This is going to be an annoying lineup to deal with. First logic bomb from the Dokkaebi of Cameraman will go off. Candelas and logic bombs to deal with for the defenders. Not a great spot to be in. Nobody likes doing that. Raise your hands if you've played Rainbow Six Siege and had to deal with both a Ying and a Dokkaebi, and frankly just not had a very good time.
I mean, at Jackal's as well, right? It's like you get Jackal tracked and Lions, and it's like, do you move or do you stand still? Like, what's worse? Either way, you probably die in the end.
I believe you just stand still.
Yeah, just stand still, right?
That's what they say, right?
Yeah. Suppose that's true.
You called out FaZe's lack of a Thatcher and EMPs before. No pocket EMPs on this lineup from FaZe either. Meaning that if there's a Kaid in play, which there is, this Electro Claws can be very, very powerful on some of the hatches that are harder to get at. FaZe triumphant in their entry. Bounce back from Wolves as they pick up 2. Candelas go in. Souls from Dirt Tunnel, but another Kiba goes up right as he melees it. Bullet in, capitalizing off of a potentially blind P4. Rise takes out Cameraman, and Mowgli, standing inside of Church, has to deal with these last 2 players, allowing Rise to get back to the bomb site. Soul's on the plant, but he aborts it. Not going to be able to pull it off. Bullet has the bead on Rise, and there you go. Soul's getting the plant down. Mowgli will need to stop it in its tracks. Can he do it? Doesn't look likely. A blind fire through. FaZe get their very first round. It's still 3-1 in favor of Wolves, but at least FaZe is on the board.
And that's exactly what I want to see from FaZe. A change of pace to play more aggressive, because they can still thrive in these aggressive, explosive situations. Like I explained earlier, they can play both styles. It's a matter of choosing which one they think works the best. There's a fast blue and dirt attack. It was a good follow-up. They didn't even get to really utilize the Incandelas whatsoever. It was beautifully shut down by the Asami Kiba barriers, and that really, I thought, was going to seal it for Wolves. But then, again, they just walk on in, member after member from FaZe, and they just win their individual gunfights. They establish bomb site control, they can start taking down that diffuser, and then they had information to work with of the whereabouts of the members of Wolves. And I actually like the fact that Wolves goes back to basement, because the way the round played out previously, that's not going to happen again. There's just absolutely zero chance that all of those things line up the same way. So Wolves recognize this. They have confidence in the basement. They're going to go there again. They know that FaZe has to either change something, or at the very least, they can prepare for the same similar attack if that were to be the case, and they can shut that down instead. So, especially with the fact that CCTV is not a viable bomb site, I think it's really smart to force basement twice in a row.
We always have to question why teams go down to certain bomb sites more than once. You know, it used to be the standard, way back when, because there just simply weren't enough viable bomb sites.
Oh, you had to go again.
Always go to the same bomb site over and over again. In this case, there's a wealth of options here. CCTV cache has sunk like a lead balloon.
Yeah, okay.
Now bar and stage is all the rage.
Yeah. It's fun because I remember Clubhouse before the rework only had like one good bomb set that was basement. Then you were forced to go to bar, which was like unwinnable basically. And then like, I guess we go back to basement after losing bar. Like you literally just had one good site. With the rework that we had many years ago, well, we've had 3 bomb sets always viable. Bar was a bit of a question mark. Then we had a mini rework, and now all of a sudden bar is a really competitive bomb site and CCTV isn't. It's the beauty of how the game is evolutionizing itself over time, especially how Maverick impacts some bomb sites, Thatcher, secondary piece, etc. Oh,
Astro walks right in and say goodbye to Mowgli. The scary thing for Wolves is if Astro can start putting kills on the board. That's Astro's first kill, is that correct? That is
correct.
That is disappointing and well below his standards as well.
I mean, you can also look at Cameraman. I mean, he's done the support work, right? He never really gets any gunfights, but he's also 0-2. So there are members of FaZe that have yet to really boot up on the scoreboard, and they're still putting up numbers in close rounds, relatively speaking. So once all those members, they get there, that could be trouble for Wolves.
Under drones they go. Half of the round used. The only one to die so far is Mowgli. Mowgli was so dominant for many rounds against Mirage before then falling off, if you recall.
See to check it. This is the drone check. Latim is so good, they're so proficient. Let's see, does he check the corner? I get shot. But they know he's there. Now, big decision time for FaZe. Do you go and hunt Rise, who's absolutely alone, or do you leave him and hold him stuck? You got the 5 versus 4 already, you're already in man advantage. Do you risk going for this and losing a member? The answer seems to be yes. Cyber's gonna apply pressure from one angle. Other members are gonna come from the strip hallway itself. They wanna get this kill.
Rise being focused on, but this has taken 40 seconds off of the clock, and he engages with Astro. Damage is done, but still, look at the time and look at how much of it has disappeared. Yep. That's obviously going to benefit Wolves a lot. They have 3 players, 3 warm bodies on the bomb site to throw against this problem, but Bibu is prepared for it. And
that could be the round.
Not only does the nitro cell go off, he's able to do it with the gun in hands as well. FaZe will drop through blue, right into the plume of smoke. Cameraman taking some damage. Bibu a 3rd kill. 2 more could be his. P4 shuts down the ace potential, and Cyber walks in, taking out Shinka. But he can't get more than that. An act of desperation as Wolves pick up their 4th round, and they'll win the first half.
I love how FaZe was able to just like shift W through the map and kill Rise inside of strip because they knew they had no time to waste. But even though they got the kill, they're still on that timer. They got to shift W back towards the bomb site, and Bibu took such big advantage out of it. C4 above the reinforcement, down to main stairs, gets a kill and an injure, and is the person with diffuser, which means someone else from FaZe has to go there and reclaim what is lost to them because they need the case to plant. That C4 saved the entire round. That was all off the back of Bibu. Beautifully timed. Well done. And that's FaZe gonna be in a bit of a dire position, being down 1-4 in round score.
We have another tech pause right now. It looks like Cameraman has had some issues. I really don't know why we keep having them.
Yeah, I mean, you never do. That's.
I'm not a tech guy, that's for sure.
No.
But yeah, not entirely certain.
I mean, you could always make a joke that if you were to be a tech guy, you could probably like make a lot of money at LAN events because there's always tech issues to be solved, right? You just walk around, you fix that, fix this, etc. The issues, you never know when they're gonna arrive, and quite frankly, you never really know always how to fix them. That's just how tech works.
It's like my luggage; you never know when it's gonna arrive.
It's like your it's like, oh, I'm flying across the ocean. Will my luggage arrive with me? I don't know till I find out if it's not there. Thumbs up. Yeah.
Exactement, as people would say.
What do you know what that means?
Exactly.
Is that what it means?
That's what it means.
That's what it means. Okay.
Yes.
I was in.
It's not hard to.
I mean, I could speak Danish, and I can say it's not hard either. I don't speak French. I'm sorry.
True.
I was. I told you this already, but the stream doesn't know this. I was working out last night in the hotel, and with me was P4, Mowgli, and Bibu. So I got to witness a team bonding session in the gym. The guys had a leg day. They were squatting. They were going crazy. They were having a great time. I said, "Good luck tomorrow." He said, "Thank you." And I mean, they've had a good day so far, I would say.
Tech is you still ongoing? Looks like she's getting an update.
Yeah.
Headset off for Bullet as well. Cameraman still in the middle, no headphones on at all.
We'll see if it gets fixed in just a moment. Waiting for an update to see if it's going to be a long-term or short-term situation in our hands.
Could possibly, if it's going to be longer term, we've got another match going. I'm assuming at least it's ongoing.
I would hope so, for their sake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It is going to be a bit of a longer break. So with that said, we're going to go over to stream B. Please go over, enjoy the matches, and we'll be back when we're ready. See you soon.
You've also got the rest of the Direwolves making some pretty unconventional entries. It looks like they're going to go for a... Ooh, okay, anyway. It looks like they're going to go for a bottom-up, more direct take onto the bomb site. Edie is going to get this pressure down from below, starting to burn that utility, and that's on that that's on that Cafe double just upstairs. But Melted, in fact, is able to take the engagement, that one-on-one through the vertical, and take him down.
It's actually really ambitious. I've never seen anyone do that vertical line, let alone contest it from the other way. But this nade could be big. That must have been caught out by a magnet, though. And in fact, Melted is still able to keep his shield alive. Direwolves desperately need to clear out this position because it is so powerful.
There's also a second magnet, I believe, right next to where Melted is currently sitting. Yeah, there you go. He's just turned to him. And so if they want to chuck that second grenade in, maybe that takes it down with it. Oh, it actually does. There you go. The magnet was just slightly too close to that shield, and Melted's shield has now been taken down. They do have Cafe control if they wish to make that entry, but first of all, they have to worry about the player on the arcade stairs, and that was Kento that was just taken down by Reaps.
Well, there you go. You said it and it happened. Reaps is once again on a tear. On the Yana this round, a great gun. Back with the 1.5 again. G36 players unite and rejoice at that change.
So the Direwolves have actually decided to flip their push entirely. They're no longer going for that Cafe, more direct take, and they're going to look for that map sweep. And that's where that Legion Mine really comes into play. Reaps, he just stepped into one coming up the Dragon Stairs, and now we see all of Mirage starting to train their sights on the other side of the map.
Ah, but Souffle's nailed Benji. He's now going to have to sit on those bulletproof cameras with Kento. Direwolves are kind of everywhere all at once. So here comes Reaps round in the corner. Dexter's gone down. Reaps goes deep. Is he going to be able to flatten the player top wide? What a shot from Smoke. SMG-11, and it doesn't matter now. Melted steps up as well. He's the clutch player, but he's been taken down. All on Mahesi, but Pika to find the double with the F2. And Direwolves are 2 rounds on the trot on the attacking side of Theme Park.
Really nice pivot from the side of Direwolves. Once they realized that funnel coming up the arcade stairs and through Cafe was a little dicey, it was pretty hard to work, they decided, okay, since we've been given this entire bottom floor control for free, let's just walk it up Dragon Stairs, make it a more multifaceted, like two-way pinch type push. And as a result, it forced Mirage to divide their attention. They were caught out in the gunfights. Reaps super good on that entry, coming in through initiation, eventually cleaned up by Pika on the double.
This is quite a different Direwolves to what we saw this morning with FaZe, isn't it? FaZe were manhandling Direwolves. They really struggled to get their feet into the building on Skyscraper. They struggled to find their confidence. And while I theorized earlier, it feels like a long time ago when we were doing the pre-show for this game, Direwolves start on that attacking side. In theory, that's less favored. In theory, you have more comfort on your defense, and yet they have not held back. They've looked very organized, very prepared to play Theme Park, a map that they do not regularly play. So they've clearly scrimmed it, they're clearly confident in it, and they're taking that confidence into their gunfights, into their team play. They're not hesitating, and they've really put Mirage on the back foot early when Mirage would expect to be on the favored side.
This is a pretty chaotic game of theme park to follow as well. None of these pushes from the Direwolves have been linear at all. And typically, when you think of theme park, you think of a linear map. That's sort of the nature of the architecture. But the way that Mirage are extending themselves across the map, being ambitious with their roam, has enabled Direwolves to find an in on the entry, just find a way to slip into the building. And it's been pretty chaotic. It's been very hard to follow, and it's not the usual theme park that you see every day.
Mirage need to make sure they can get their heads back into the game. It's not been an easy start for them. It's been quite a long time coming to get into this game, and no doubt, especially for a team like Mirage that's not quite used to playing at this international stage. This is their debut. Direwolves might not be used to it, but they have at least done it once before in Charlotte. I feel like that is going to disproportionately affect these less experienced teams like Mirage. The fact that you're playing this waiting game, you're dealing with these issues, it just zaps you out of the zone.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like we are ready. Woo! Thank you so much for tuning into the previous stream over on StreamB, who were also having some issues, apparently.
It felt like we caused it, because like we had an issue, that we transferred to them, that they got an issue. We're bad, but we're back, so maybe
are we
cursed now. We might be cursed. I will know if this game goes overtime, if the WOL is up 4-1, that'll confirm it. That's like the final step. It's like, what game we cast goes OT. And then it's a curse and a blessing both ways, honestly.
So far, for anybody keeping track at home, our first match went 14 of 15 rounds.
Yeah.
Our second match went 15 of 15 rounds.
Yep.
Our third match went 12 of 12 rounds because overtime wasn't required. Our fourth match went 14 of 15 rounds. We are basically casting the maximum here.
Almost.
And most of those rounds are not quick. Most of them have gone the full distance.
Yeah.
So they are you, the viewer. You're getting your money's worth today. On you right now.
Yeah.
This nice lull between Wolves and FaZe Clan have allowed the teams to talk to each other, to discuss exactly what's going on, and to prep for the inevitable return. FaZe Clan will be unlikely be happy with this. Down goes P4. FaZe get on the board very first.
Yep. That's going to bode well for them. Opening kill in the first 55 seconds. As Sami also been on to fall means those keeper barriers are not going to recharge any further, so a bit of value lost there from that specific operator. On the side of FaZe Clan, bringing the same kind of stable lineup. Cyber is being allowed more aggression on the Iana versus the Buck, as the gym bomb site does not need two vertical destructors, as Sledge is already being brought. Well, actually, sorry, Sledge and Buck are being brought, but from different people. Cameraman is getting aggressive as well. He's off that supportive cast of the Capitao and the Ying, and I think that's the right choice for him, because he needs to get in these gunfights now more than ever.
Hatch being held. So much Hatch play that we've seen here. A drop from Souls, missing out on Rise, who will just be cannon fodder for FaZe. Down goes Mowgli as well. FaZe just cleaning shop. No hope for Shinka. Bibu pulls trigger, and two are gone. Look at that. Another Bibu, are you kidding me? All he needs to find is Bullet. He was denied an ace previously. Can he pull it off this time? He needs to play back. He knows he has Diffuser. No salvation from that Nitro cell. Bullet has an explosive of his own. Bibu knows he's somewhere nearby.
Attackers recovered the bomb diffuser.
The guessing game of where that grenade came from, Nick. That'll be interesting.
And he's 1 HP, just like against Mirage. Same thing.
Oh, Bullet, you've been spotted on a bulletproof camera. He has to be very worried of where Bibu is going to come from. Bibu's been under watch this whole time, or Bullet's been under watch this whole time. I don't know if he can get spotted. Yes, he can. Bibu trying to shake him off, but Bullet is committed to it, and Bibu will pre-fire away. Some magic needs to happen here. Bibu sees him, but loses it. Oh no, the magic runs out at the last moment. An impressive play by Bullet. Cool as a cucumber.
The thing is, you can't even be mad if your final round that we saw was a gym attack by FaZe, in which they came out superior. Bibu tried for that 1 versus 5 clutch, did not work out. It was Cyber who ended up winning the round for his team, and now FaZe will start off on the basement bomb site themselves. Also bringing over that Kaid, but Shinka and the side of Wolves are doing that due diligence of bringing the Thatcher off the rip, making sure that those Heartbreach gadgets will go through and strike true. Buck might bring a second Heartbreach canister. Yep, there it is. So a triple Heartbreach lineup for Wolves. That's going to ensure the contingency plan. If one member of those Heartbreaches fall, there are 2 others to back it up. That's just playing the safety here. It's a wise choice.
All right, first half in the books. Wolves won 1 round flawlessly, won 4 rounds in total, as you can see. Relatively even when it comes to opening picks. Church, gym, bar, church, gym, the bomb site rotation. That is it for what we saw. Now, while we were in a tech pause, we didn't actually need a rehost, so none of these numbers need to be updated, which is actually quite nice.
Besides cameraman.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Cameraman left.
He got done dirty twice, actually. He's 0-0-0 for the 3rd time in this game.
Yeah.
Well, you are correct. We keep the stats besides that. Also, like, not to throw anything around, cameraman didn't have that many kills, so we can almost just keep, he has like +2, I think. So like, just imagine a 2 instead of 0 of kills, and he's like, that's it basically. FaZe is, Wolves is making their way through the map right now. Dirt is still in control of the defenders. Kai Claws on both Kitchen Hatch and on Moto Hatch has to be dealt with accordingly. There are still EMPs on the board for Shinka. All 3, I believe, still in pocket of his. P4 with those Selma charges, or even Bibu with the exothermic charges, can circumvent the Kitchen Hatch Kai Claw by breaching the soft floor next to it, as the explosive destruction of the gadget actually has an area of effect damage effect if they want to go around it that way.
Or they could circumvent it.
That's the word I was looking for.
Wow, it's like you've already...
It's almost like...
You already used it once.
Yep.
Failure to trick the hatch inside a Moto by Souls will surrender that portion of the map. Give control to Wolves if they want to use it. Next one to tackle, the Kitchen Hatch.
Ooh.
Hard to do that when your Buck is dead. FaZe leading off their very first defense with a kill on the Rise.
It's a big one as well. Rise did have that Heartbreach canister in his pocket. And of course, it's the vertical destruction gone, so the approach now might change towards a church attack instead with blue control as well. Wolves, they like attacking blue, unlike most of the team, so they're not on unfamiliar territory by any means. They got 35 seconds left. Astro's positions out of church, very vital for FaZe Clan. He's on the smoke.
It's P4 from above. Watching. It's Bibu to push on his own, but he's going to run right into Cyber. Cyber doesn't typically lose these engagements, but Bibu has been on another level. Mowgli to the rescue. Bibu capitalizing. Mowgli, 2 nice shots as well. Shinka with diffuser in hand gets stopped in his tracks. Suddenly, FaZe are in a great spot, but Astro can't get it done until he does. Bullet and Astro to shut down P4, and it'll be Astro to do it, but no, Bullet gets there first. And FaZe Clan do not allow Wolves to stretch their lead.
Nope, and I mean, we saw it, Wolves, they successfully attacked blue, but then things kind of fell apart. Astro's position out of church, well, it didn't get punished. He was roaming around freely. I believe that he went out through the breach as the members of Wolves walked in through motor door. So a bit of a flank situation going on. And Wolves, they were trying to get down that plant maybe a little bit too early than they wanted to originally, because other members were still having gunfights inside of blue, so the cover wasn't there for them. FaZe gonna go straight up 1 floor to bar instead as their second bomb site preference. Cyber is gonna bring out the Capcan now, which is quite, not strange, it's just different, right? We don't really see Capcan be brought on the bar because normally teams don't attack the entirety of the top floor, so seeing all these Capcan traps being scattered across the top floor is one of those, aha, that's not normally where you're gonna see people sprint to the building carelessly and possibly hitting those traps. Of course, FaZe Clan have done their research on Wolves. They might have something in mind that we don't. Of course, Astro as well, bring out those Valkyrie cameras. It's a vital piece of information for this bomb site. We saw when Wolves defended this, they were just playing inside a master bedroom with, you know, with Yokai drones, with Valkyrie cameras, etc. And they could do all they needed to from the top floor itself. FaZe can do a similar thing here, but there is an IQ being brought by from P4 who can counter combat that information game.
Mowgli quickly in.
That's
oh
free.
My.
That's so free.
An early pick from Wolves. They need to bounce back after that lengthy delay, get their head back in the game. Already getting control of Strip Club when it's a bar stage take is excellent in terms of timing.
Especially because the Wolves are going for a horizontal attack, it looks like. They're going for the strip side push in towards pool table, and I don't know exactly what the plan is now, but I can imagine the 2 smoke grenades in pocket of Bibo has to play a big factor into this, because you can't just walk in pool table and plant. In fact, you can't even plant on the pool table location at all. You gotta walk all the way down to those stairs, or plant on the stairs themselves. That's your only real way in. It could also be that the Wolves will change their approach right now after getting this initial map control, after getting that kill, and the main push isn't even gonna come from Strip. Seems to be the case.
All right. Well, you get Strip and then you just sit and wait and you don't do much with it because the rest of your team needs to catch up. P4 is in there as well. That one wall has been opened. Bibu sustaining serious damage over in Lounge. And he sees the Azami, finishes off Souls, not the best advised peek. That double door is now Wolves for the taking, as the 2 members of FaZe try to get closer to the bomb site, one of which is Astro from above, but the hatch is reinforced, so there will be no drop. There are lines of sight seemingly opened up. That will bode well for FaZe, but they need to ensure that the diffuser goes down in a part of the map that they can actually see. And then that becomes incumbent upon Wolves to plant in an area where you might not be looking.
You can tell FaZe don't know the exact whereabouts of Wolves because they're checking every single angle and corner because of that early pressure being applied. Now, Execute can start going down, but Cyber, stuck between 2 members, can't quite find the angle, nor the retake. It's up to cameraman now for the hero play.
Cameraman's phone still ringing away. Can he outduel the Dokkaebi Ashinka? Yes, he can. Diffuser goes down. Suddenly, cameraman has 2 kills. Just like that. 3 in total, 2 in fast order. Mowgli will engage, takes the head off of Cyber. Back to even numbers. Camera through the door, but gets shut down. Mowgli a huge round and make it a 4K. 5 rounds for Wolves as they want to put FaZe in the bin.
But it's a close round. Despite so many things going so well for Wolves, FaZe, they nail it down to a 2 versus 2. And if Cameraman had won that gunfight a little bit earlier instead of stuck with the Dokkaebi, he could have potentially shut down the plant, or at least made the plant to go off it to buy more time. And speaking of time, it's time for a timeout for FaZe Clan. 45 seconds on the clock. Both teams can talk to their coach and amongst themselves as they both get to figure out what their next steps are going to be. There's Bibo on the side of Wolves with his hands and his mouth doing all the talking. Even though Rise is technically the captain and IGL for this team, it's most typically Bibo that we see on these tactical timeouts, seemingly aspiring his teammates, or inspiring rather, towards the future. Motivation is key here, so is confidence. And Wolves, it seems like they've been focusing a lot on staying positive throughout these tough rounds, especially earlier against Mirage. Whereas for FaZe Clan, it's all the coach doing the talking right now. It's going to be more strategical. What he sees, what he feels the issues might be, the bomb site rotation and preference, what their next step should be, because on the defensive side, you make the first move, right? You choose your bomb site, you choose your operators, then you put up all your utility, and you create this big puzzle for the attackers to solve. Essentially, everything that the attackers do is based off a reaction of what they see, what intel they gather. So FaZe, it's up to them to make it as difficult as possible for Wolves to solve. And that answer right now seems to be Jim. Warden, a wise choice because these smoke grenades are being used by Wolves. Bibo continues to bring in smokes on the Thermite. Of course, the Frost, a stable pick on this bomb side of Jim because those 3 windows on the side, the hatch drop, etc. Looks good. Feels good, seems good. Wolves have made a few alterations of their own, but nothing too major. Just different nade operators, different similar utility pieces. No real eye-opener here for us. No standout operator, really.
I've very much been enjoying the way these teams have matched up. The theatrics and the thrills from the top gunners of both of these teams. Though I will say, I would have liked to have seen this be a battle of the Titans between maybe Cyber, just to say a name, just to throw a name out into the ether. Maybe Cyber versus Bibu. Something along those lines. Gunfire exchanged as the panel leading into CCTV is opened up. And a small sight line has also been created from outside on the balcony into construction.
I do like what Wolves is doing. They're always applying this like phantom pressure. They'll open a wall, then they'll disappear, and then like a minute and a half later, they will reappear. So it's always keeping FaZe guessing as to where the pressure actually is coming from, and it creates these openings like P4 getting a seemingly random kill from the window that they thought was actually safe.
The Azami is down for the count. There's one Kiba barrier that will not be available. Cyber playing down in garage. Look at that line of sight. Oh, and he can down Mowgli.
Ooh.
Mowgli might drop off. Cyber will go for the run out, but there's somebody there waiting on rappel, and it's Bibu to stop him in his tracks. Mowgli should be recovered at some point. That means that Wolves will come out with an even better advantage that they are currently at in this 4v3 that will become a 5v3 once he's brought back from the dead. Cameraman next to take some damage. Maybe he wants to secure that kill. Sensible.
Sensible. I mean, you need something, right? Act of desperation right now is pretty logical because you're down 2 members. And you're already starting to bleed out in this round. Bibu playing so passive on this. Again, phantom pressure. He could rappel up and peek bullet at any given moment, but right now he just wants to stay alive. He doesn't want to be isolated because he knows there's no trade, there's no backup, and his position is vital for those windows to be peeked by his fellow teammates. Playing it smart, playing it slow. In FaZe, they're just waiting for the next engagement to come around, but it has to come from Wolves themselves because FaZe, they don't have any options to peek right now. Another injure, but no kill.
Just trouble securing right now for FaZe. Shinka is still down, by the way. Will be picked back up. There go the walls in the bathroom, and cameraman will follow with it. Rise, the first casualty for Wolves. FaZe Clan have their work cut out for them. Wolves can taste match point right now. It would take a catastrophic throw or a hero play as, well, Bullet's able to get Mowgli. That's the nade dropped. Possibly, suddenly FaZe have gotten all the kills. It's just P4 to try to win. It was a 2v4, and now P4 will need to try to clutch out. He's got 1 second left. He can't get it done. What a play by FaZe Clan.
They hold on, and again, a lot of people look at this round and go, FaZe Clan should swing, play super aggressive, just go for those peaks because they're down 2 members, but they had bathroom double reinforced. They had a really good stronghold inside the bomb site itself, and they allowed Ace to breach it open with those Selma charges, but the angle kind of favors the defenders. They found 2 kills off it, and a heroic play on top of Vayne's there, pushing through, getting 2 kills, 1 on the breach, 1 on the gym with the jump in. That really secured the round because now Diffuse is in a bad spot, you regain control, you still have a little bit of information to work with, and also to make things even worse for Wolves, Astro also finding kills out of construction. So you're playing from 2 different fronts on the defense, and now the attackers are running around scattered, trying to pick up the pieces, and it's just too much to deal with no time on the clock. And therefore FaZe, they get the round. 5-4. Things starting to look very, very close. And it kind of comes down to the individual performances right now on which side gets the round. If Mowgli pops off with a 4K, Wolves, they're looking mighty fine. But if FaZe, they pull that kind of stuff out, it's going to be very, very close couple of rounds to come.
Absolutely. Timeout is now over, and we can get back into the action. I'm feeling it, Nick. I'm feeling like we're going to go all 12 rounds.
I'm feeling it too.
I'm definitely feeling it.
But I mean, looking at this matchup before it even started, kind of like heroic TSM, this should be a 7-5 at least, possibly over time. Why? Because these are the Titan teams that we're expecting to go the distance when matched up against one another. Looking at Dire Wolves versus FaZe Clan, a lot of people will assume that FaZe will run them over. Spoiler alert, they did. It was a 7-1 victory for FaZe, and it almost looked like FaZe weren't really fully warmed up going into this game because it might have been a little bit too easy for them in their opening game today. So it took them a couple of rounds. They went 2-4 in the first half against Wolves here now, but once we got into defense, FaZe are looking a lot better. It has been a slow game for them, but they're starting to ramp up. Now we'll see if that trend continues. We are back downstairs. We are extended up above. We are roaming as one should on this bomb set of bar. Wolves have to keep problem solving. Now, Wolves, they do have one trick up their sleeve, and they did this against Mirage. They like changing the pace on a dime. They will just find the door, find a window, and just funnel 3 members through, seemingly out of nowhere, and just explode. And this Jacuzzi Breach right here could be one of those moments where they will push on in with the exothermic charge explosion. We saw them do it against Mirage, and it looks like P4 will just send it on in again.
Nade in hand won't be swung on this time. He'll actually be able to get in, or it certainly looks that way, and that's a freebie against Cameraman. Look at all this free real estate for P4. Wolves get in big time, but Astro outduels both Shinka and P4 before getting dropped from Logi. What is happening right now? Within 1 minute, half of the server clears out.
It's Wolves flipping on a dime, like I said. Out of nowhere, they will just go for these plays, but as you know, as this tournament keeps going on, if you face Wolves on this particular map, you're gonna expect this rush. They did twice against Mirage, once against FaZe, all in the same day. If Wolves play Clubhouse tomorrow, there's no way that's ever gonna fly because they've done it too many times. So these are the kind of rounds that are only gonna work temporarily, and that moment is right now. This could be the final time they find this much success. It's still 3 versus 2. Make that a 3 versus 1 as people finds one more into Cyber. Souls can clutch it out here. Even the score, or Wolves, they push it to match point.
Soul's so patient right now. Who will be the first to come in contact? Cam's still up, so they can work that.
My money's on Mowgli.
You think Mowgli's going to be the first?
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting. Rises in the middle of the bomb site, diffuser in hand, looking to plant. Souls sees the tracers from the IQ of Mowgli. You were correct that he would be the first to find him. Timer starts to run on FaZe. Soul's struggling, but they've got some pings, and there's a drop from the sledge of Rise. He gets away. Soul's in a tough spot. Finds drones, and he gets collapsed upon by Mowgli. Bit anticlimactic finish to that round, as he had so many ways to look. Expertly done by Wolves, who sit on match point and have guaranteed themselves at least 1 point.
So let's take a moment here to look back at the bomb site rotation. FaZe started off defending basement, they won. Then they went bar and they lost. They went gym and they won. Then they went bar and they lost. Bar isn't working out. That's very blatantly obvious looking at the numbers right now. They can go basement where they were victorious. Then they can go back to gym as well. So knowing this, statistically they can get their 2 best bomb sites for this matchup. Then they can take us to overtime. And then it comes down to what happens in those few couple of rounds if we get there. Basement will come first, as you see right now. Operator lineup is the same simple operators of basement. Kai to trick the EMPs, force out that operator. Asami to help with lines of sight. Mute with the C4 and shotgun in hand. Smoke, of course, every single one gets played by both teams. And ADSs for that protection from the grenades. Wolves, they're not really a team that very frequently goes for those pocket strat kind of operators, but Bebo is actually showing us one of the few operators that do play outside of the norm. That's the Monty. Now, I have one criticism when teams bring a Monty, and in this scenario, that criticism arises for me. Because Bebo is the Monty player, but Bebo is also the guy leading with the most kills in the entire server with 13. And sure, Mowgli's on 12, he's 1 behind, but it's like, when it's going so well, when your team captain has so much value on the scoreboard, and now he becomes a pacifist, essentially, playing Monty, because people does play a passive Monty, I have to worry, a little bit. But at the same time, if you are the best Monty player, and that happens to be people, that's the way it's gotta be. Now, the Monty signifies a blue push or a dirt push. That's where Monty's the strongest. You don't really want to drop a hatch if you can avoid it. But with how much time they have left right now, and only a single heart breacher, well, they have 2 secondary heart breach gadgets, but that's like the equivalent of 1 big heart breacher. They do have limited options here. See what they choose. But dirt usually is the way.
Well, Monty can walk on into dirt, just continue with that diffuser. Cameraman, easy to smoke him out. And this will do a little bit of damage here and there. Bibu can back up. If that's the only point of damage he ends up taking through 3 toxic babes, he's in good spot.
Yep. It's all about the time for Wolves. They just want to burn down the clock, babe after babe, and then they can just walk in for free. So Cameraman has to dance between waiting enough time between each touching babe, or just simply fall off all the way. That also works.
You gotta make sure that your focus from FaZe is not just on this Monty and Dirt push. I don't know what intel FaZe got from this.
No!
As to whether
There's no way.
I mean, that's smartly played by Bibu.
It is.
Or smartly played by Cameraman, rather. Bibu is dead. So is Cyber, though. At least Wolves get an answer back. And now Cameraman will toss out those smokes. No toxic canisters left with over a minute to go. Not uncommon when you see a smoke playing down inside of Dirt, but...
I mean, you trade 3 toxic babes for a Monty, that's the entire main push from Wolves, and now they have to like figure out a different way. I mean, they would need Diffuser to go into Kitchen now to drop the Kitchen edge because there's no way P4 can walk through Dirt tunnel door. That's just not gonna happen.
Absolutely correct. Souls flattens Mowgli. Still in his position. Souls taken out by Shinka. Evenly between these two teams. P4 in Dirt Tunnel. They know he's there. Shinka at the bottom of main stairs. FaZe is doing this mental calculus as to where these players are. Rise also looks to be at the bottom of the main stairs. So he's not too far removed from where the execute is going to go. Bullet is pushed up. Oh, that's the real deal, not the clone, but Rise has breached his way in, narrowly missing out on a second opportunity. Cameraman from above will have to retake, as he's the last one standing for FaZe. He has to deny from above, he cannot drop. The hatch is still closed, Nick. As Cameraman makes his ascent back, Shinka will stop him and give Wolves 3 full points as they best FaZe in their final match of the day.
What a tease. I mean, if you're Cameraman and you go for that flank shift W and the hatch is closed, you're like, man, I could have seen Diffuser, I could have helped to rotate, I could have got my 1 versus 1 with line of sight, but no, he doesn't get it.
Not at all. Wolves starting off this match quite strong. And in the middle, FaZe made it competitive. Hats off to them. FaZe, one of the perennial contenders for the finals. In fact, they were in the finals of the Berlin Major. And it was here in Sweden.